Welcome to the Goofy Getaways Podcast, the show where travel planning becomes part of the fun. Here we share expert guidance, real experiences from our travel advisors, and thoughtful conversations designed to help travelers feel more confident before they ever leave home. I'm your host, Amy Blades, founder and CEO of Goofy Getaways, and each week we'll be bringing you insight, strategy, and support that turns good trips into unforgettable ones. This is a topic that I'm sure you've heard here or there, but we're talking today more about getting into early booking versus last minute bookings, and is one better than the other? So I actually just did a blog on this, so it actually kind of partners really, really well with the podcast today, because I think there's no wrong answer, and it really kind of depends who it is that you're talking to. There are sometimes I would say last minute is amazing, and then there's times I'd be like last minute not so cool. And then I would say planning a trip way in advance, it can be incredible, but you can also have an amazing vacation if you plan something super quick, right? Like some great deal comes out or you have a last minute getaway and it's like, ooh, sometimes those can be the best too. So I think one of the questions that we get asked, I'm sure that you guys do as well, when should I book? And I'm really curious just to have a discussion with both of you as to what is it that you tell your clients, or when you're even thinking about your own vacations, when do you tell people is the best time to book? Cindy, I'll let you kind of start with this if you don't mind.
The best time to book, I think, is when you are absolutely sure that you want to go. Let's start taking a look at things. Look at prices, look at availability. If it's a far away date, that's great. You've got more time to budget, to plan, maybe add a few little extra things to the vacation that you weren't thinking of. It's just, I say, as soon as you know, let's just start looking. And to book a reservation, no matter whether it's Disney or it's Universal or it's some all-inclusive, it's a small deposit. And most cases, it is refundable or changeable. So it's a small investment, I think, to just get the ball rolling. And then you know that you have something secure. You can think about it. And if you need to make changes, we make changes.
Yeah, because I think overall, when somebody is asking about that, like, okay, when is the best time to book? Tell me if you disagree, but I think it's number one, when is the best time to go that I'm going to have the best value? When is the best time to go no matter where you're going, where there's not going to be crowds? I think you guys know that I've been spending a lot of the summer out on the East Coast this year, which is something new for Chuck and I. And I was looking forward to, and I'm enjoying it, don't misunderstand me, but I was so looking forward to, just really experiencing it and thinking it was just going to be kind of low key. Well, that's like prime time to travel. So many people are there doing the same exact thing. So I really wonder sometimes if people are asking it for a specific reason, like if somebody has flexibility to plan something longer, or they don't have flexibility and they're like, look, the way my job works, I got to book something. If I get a weekend, I have to do it then. What about you, Arlise? When people ask you that, what is your take?
I think timing depends on what kind of experience you want. Because if you're someone who likes to plan ahead, likes to budget, I think that planning ahead, planning early is very beneficial. But if you're someone who is a little bit more on the flexible side and you're okay, or you're comfortable with uncertainty, I think that works great too. It really, there's no wrong answer, like you mentioned earlier, and it just depends on the type of experience you want. Do you want adventure? Do you want something more relaxing? Do you want something for the kids, or just like a couple's getaway? And the booking windows for a lot of destinations, it varies. So it really just depends on you.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think it just comes down to figuring out why they're asking the question. Right? Are they asking it because we're looking at, they have this certain time and that's the only time they can go. So they're like, look, should we plan this right now because we can go right now? Or should we wait next year at this same time and go? It really all depends, I think, on what the client's asking the question for. And I think that's part of our job as travel consultants, is to figure out why they're asking the question. And I know we've said this before. I say it on the podcast all the time, and you guys hear it from me too. Our job is to really kind of keep our mouth shut and listen, especially that first introduction or that first conversation, talking enough to ask questions, but really listening to what the client says, because every single vacation that we book is absolutely different. And even clients that we have that are repeat clients, no two trips are the same. And it really depends what they want to get out of the trip, whether you're going to do something last minute or you're going to plan something ahead of time. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so too. let's just kind of narrow in, I guess. But what do you think is the advantage of booking early? If someone comes to you and they want to book a trip a year and a half out, what's the advantage of that, Arlise?
There's more availability. There's more choices available. And especially if there's somebody who they know what they want, the type of room that they want, the type of, let's say it's a cruise, the type of cabin that they want, there's just more inventory for them to choose from.
Yeah, I would agree with that. What about you, Cindy?
That's what I was going to say, is that the availability, because a lot of clients that wait longer don't realize that they don't have that selection to choose from. And also, for people, I've done a lot of families lately, and if they want 3 or 4 staterooms, nothing says that if you wait a long time that you're going to get all those staterooms together, because especially in ships, they're sectioned off and there's a requirement for how many people are in a certain area to do the fire codes and everything. So there's a lot that comes into play where your cabins can be and how close you can be located if you wait a little bit longer. Early on, you've pretty much got the pick of the crowd.
Yeah, and I think sometimes people don't realize that with cruises, the rate that comes out the minute pricing is released for a sailing is the cheapest you're going to get it.
Absolutely.
The longer that the price or the room sits there, like the closer you get to the trip is actually what makes a little more sense in talking about it. It's going to get more expensive. So that's when I try to say to people, if you know ahead of time and we're keeping our eye on when cruising is going to open, I say book early. Now, Cindy and I have taken cruises where we've booked very last minute, and you just have to know you are going to probably get a later dining time. Things like that. Sometimes the excursions fill up.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're really thinking about a trip that is this a once in a lifetime trip for you, and there are certain things that you absolutely want to do, are you someone that has to eat early, not late? I think all of those things come into play when you're thinking about not just a cruise or not just Walt Disney World, or even Universal or an all-inclusive. There are so many different things that play into whatever destination it is that you're going to. So yeah, I think booking early, you're truly, in my opinion, you're never going to kick yourself for booking early. And your flights are usually going to be a better price as well. No matter what destination, having the extra time to plan exactly what you want, I don't think you'll ever go wrong there. And more flexibility, don't you think? Like this kind of with the whole entire thing. The whole entire trip. Yeah. What do you think then if you're talking about the last minute trips? So let's talk about the advantages of that, because there are sometimes when I just said the closer you get to the trip, it gets more expensive, which is true up to a certain point. But I mean, if there's a ship that's not full or rooms that aren't being booked, you better absolutely believe that you can get really good rates on last minute cruises, don't you think? Or trips.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's where you have to be a little more flexible. Like if you're just going to go with the flow and you're just going to go with whatever, then it's like, yeah, that works absolutely fine.
I just had the experience just a couple nights ago where I had some friends reach out and they're like, are there any last minute cruise deals with Royal Caribbean? And I went in and they're looking for the week before Thanksgiving. And I was able to find them availability on the cruise ship, but it's a guaranteed stateroom, but at least it's like an ocean with a balcony, which is what they wanted. And they knew they were flexible enough that they knew that they were probably not going to be able to pick a deck or the specific room that they wanted, but at least they want a balcony. So they were okay with that and they were flexible. Royal has some incredible flash deals right now. And I think we applied 4 different promotions for it. And the price was incredible. And this was for a 6-night Western Caribbean. So
Wow.
you really can book last minute deals like that as well.
People ask me about a guaranteed stateroom and if that's something, what my thought is on it. And I'm like, if you know you're going to get that category, the only time a stateroom makes a big difference, I think, is when you're traveling with people and you want your room to be next to them.
Mhm.
Or if you are somebody that is seasick and has seasickness, then you definitely, want to be midship. But other than that, I mean, have you done guaranteed rooms before, Cindy?
Yeah. We've done 2, and it's worked out fine. I mean, we had no problem at all. We got in our room and we were like, wow. The room was a little bigger because of where it was located. It was a little further from the elevators. So, I mean, it doesn't always mean you're going to have an obstructed view. I feel that there's always going to be a quirk about your room. But knock on wood, we've had really good luck with it. So,
yeah. So perks of booking A last minute trip can be financial, might be able to get a really good deal. Perks of booking ahead of time, I feel like you're going to get that planning piece. Like you're going to have more time to plan what it is you're doing. But let's be honest, if I'm going on a cruise, I just want to sit in the spa so I can book that sucker as far in advance or as, like, I could next weekend go on one and just say, hey, this is what I want to do. But yeah, I feel like it's a question I get a lot. When you have clients that reach out to you, is that probably one of the most common questions you get is like, when's the best time to go? Yeah, I think so too. I think one of the things with booking last minute, sometimes people forget too, is like, and we talked about room availability, but resort availability. Sometimes, I actually popped on today. I was looking for something which I feel like is far in advance, but in December because I have to be somewhere for a conference. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to add like an extra day or two on. And the availability was like almost gone. And I'm like, geez, and I'm feeling like a couple of months is like not last minute, but yeah. I think sometimes too, make sure and tell your clients, and I do, not to get in that like discount trap, if you will, thinking sometimes if you can get something that is, you have to make sure and articulate to your client. So I'm going to use an example of like Coronado. Right? I love Coronado. I love the tower at Coronado. So you have to make sure when you're talking to your clients about picking the right resort, if it's something that's last minute and you have people that are going to Coronado and they end up in like the main area, the old area, right? The neighborhood areas, and they think that they see that big giant tower, like you need to make sure that you're really talking about what destination you're at, what resort you're at, what the availability is for specific rooms and locations. Because that's another big thing too. Have you ever done that? Have you yourself ever booked something and then didn't realize it wasn't what you wanted it to be? Probably because we keep our eye out. Maybe no, because like we keep our eye out for that. But I know people that have done that and I'm like, that's why you use a travel advisor because it's those kind of things. I'm just telling you, it's those kind of things. So let's just bump right on into the truth about pricing and promotions and price increases. We get asked this every single year at a certain time. We know that whether any of us like it or not, prices are going to tend to go up everywhere at a certain amount of time. Disney is kind of known for this. So always telling people to try to get that trip in particular booked further ahead of time, because even if the resorts aren't going to go up, ticket prices are going to go up. So I think it really depends on the destination that you're going to.
Royal is the one that, like Arlise said, I think their last minute deals are knockoff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Are good.
Oh yeah, because you can stack deals.
I noticed, I would say cruises more than anything. Well, maybe all inclusives, but I feel like cruises more than anything. If you're going to book something last minute, that's probably more what I would lean more towards doing. Obviously, if you're going to a resort of any kind and depending what it is that you want to do, if you're not fussy about location or, but otherwise a cruise, I feel like you can still, even last minute, get a pretty good space. It just kind of depends on the cruise line too, but.
Well, with the last minute cruise, you're going to know, unless you get a guarantee room, you're going to know where you're at on the ship, aft or forward or mid. And so it's not like a resort where you don't know where in this huge resort you're going to end up booking last, because they don't give you a room number when you book last minute with a resort. You're just, you may have a balcony or an ocean view or something like that. But I feel that with a cruise, 90% of the time you lock in that room so you know exactly.
No, for sure. I agree. What do you think are the most popular destinations that you guys get? Is it with anything that you book, or is it more about theme parks, or is it more on cruising, or is that pretty much people will ask you that question about when's the best time no matter what it is that you're booking?
I think for me, it's more the cruises and the theme park type of thing. I've had a lot of European inquiries this year, more than I've ever thought I'd ever have. And there's never really the question asked of when is the best time to book that? Because I think people have done, when they're going to make an investment into an international trip, they've already invested some time into what they're getting into and kind of have an idea of the prices. And you just don't hear about last minute deals on international travel. The hotels and things.
Anytime's a good time. I think as an agency, we've really, this year we have been really busy doing a lot of international travel, which is unfortunate in some ways because there's so much to do, especially like the national parks. It's just something that my husband and I have been doing over the last, I'd say, 2 years. And those can be incredible. Like, it's so beautiful. Sometimes we forget that right here in our own country, it's just absolutely stunning. So I think kind of wrapping up that kind of conversation about the right time, the wrong time, I think the bottom line really is, okay, waiting can work. booking early can work. It really just depends on kind of the personality or the feel of what you want for your vacation. If you're someone that's an absolute planner and has to have everything exactly the certain way and you have your heart set on certain things, that's one way that we would send you. And if you're someone that's just kind of going the flow and wants to get out of town or something, yeah, I think really the question is, what are you willing to give up if you take a last minute trip? Or, because, okay, if I'm going to go last minute, am I going to give up this reservation that I wanted, this room location that I want? It's just kind of finding out what it is from your client that's going to make them either not enjoy the last minute trip or enjoy the one that's planned out. So if you're trying to decide whether now is the right time to book, our advisors can help you compare your options and build a strategy that fits your vacation goals. Visit goofygetaways.com, book your trip, or use the link in the description to get started. That is it for today's episode. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time, let Goofy Getaways lead you to the magic.